So you're trying to eat healthy. You're making what you think are smart choices. Maybe you switch to whole wheat. You're eating more fruit. You grab that granola bar instead of the candy bar. And look, I get it. You're doing the right thing. Or at least you're trying to. But here's what that advice misses. Some of the foods we've been told are healthy, foods that show up in every eat this, not that list, are actually spiking your blood sugar almost as much as the stuff you're avoiding. And if you're over 40, this matters more than you think. Because the way your body handles blood sugar now, it's not the same as it was 20 years ago. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 foods that seem healthy but are secretly working against you. A couple of these are going to surprise you, and I'll tell you what to eat instead, because I'm not just going to leave you hanging. Okay, so before we get into the foods, I need you to understand why this is such a big deal. Because it's not just about weight. It's not even just about diabetes. It's about what's happening inside your body every single time your blood sugar spikes. So here's the basic picture. You eat something. Your body breaks it down into glucose, that's blood sugar, and then your pancreas releases insulin to move that glucose out of your blood and into your cells where it can be used for energy. That's how it's supposed to work. But here's where it gets tricky. When you eat something that spikes your blood sugar fast, and I mean really fast, your body has to pump out a ton of insulin to keep up. And when that happens over and over again, day after day, year after year, your cells start to ignore the insulin. They stop responding the way they should. That's called insulin resistance. And that's the first step toward type 2 diabetes. Weight gain that won't budge, energy crashes, brain fog, the whole mess. And here's what most people don't realize. It's not just candy and soda doing this. It's foods that look healthy, foods with good marketing, foods you probably have in your kitchen right now. There was actually a study out of Stanford. They put continuous glucose monitors on people who thought they were eating healthy. And what they found was kind of shocking. Some of these folks were spiking their blood sugar dozens of times a day without even knowing it, from foods they thought were good for them. So this isn't about being perfect. It's about knowing which foods are secretly working against you so you can make smarter swaps. That's all. All right, let's get into the foods. And I'm going to start with one that might sting a little. Number 1, fruit juice. And yes, I'm including fresh squeezed, organic, no sugar added juice in this. I know. It seems so healthy. It's fruit, right? What could be wrong with fruit? Here's the problem. When you take a piece of fruit and you squeeze out the juice, you're leaving behind the fiber. And that fiber is everything. It's what slows down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. Without it, you're basically drinking liquid sugar. Think about it this way. If you sat down and ate 4 oranges, you'd feel full. It would take you a while. Your body would have time to process it. But a glass of orange juice? That's 4 oranges worth of sugar hitting your system in about 30 seconds. Your blood sugar spikes, your insulin spikes, and an hour later you're tired and hungry again. And the numbers back this up. Orange juice has a glycemic index of around 50. A whole orange? About 40. But here's the real difference. It's not just the number, it's how fast it hits. Juice gets absorbed almost immediately. The whole fruit takes time. So what's the swap? Eat the fruit. Whole fruit. An apple instead of apple juice. An orange instead of OJ. You get the vitamins, you get the fiber, and your blood sugar stays steady. Number 2, whole wheat bread. Okay, this one's going to be controversial. Because we've all been told, switch from white bread to whole wheat. It's better for you. More fiber, more nutrients. And look, that's not wrong. Whole wheat is better than white bread. But here's the catch. Most whole wheat bread you're buying at the store, it's still spiking your blood sugar almost as much as white bread. The difference is smaller than you think. White bread has a glycemic index of around 75. Most commercial whole wheat bread, it's sitting at 70, maybe 72. That's not the big improvement you were promised. Why? Because the flour is still highly processed. They've ground it down so fine that your body digests it almost instantly. The whole grain label makes you feel good, but your blood sugar doesn't care about labels. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying never eat bread. What I'm saying is, if you're going to have bread, look for the real stuff. Sprouted grain bread, sourdough made with a long fermentation, dense, grainy bread where you can actually see the seeds and kernels. That's the stuff that won't send your blood sugar on a roller coaster. Number 3, granola and granola bars. This is where it gets personal because I see this all the time. Someone's trying to make better choices. They skip the pastry, they grab a granola bar. Feels like a win, right? But flip that bar over. Look at the sugar content. Most granola bars have 10, 12, sometimes 15 grams of sugar. Some of the healthy ones have even more. And the granola itself, the loose stuff you sprinkle on yogurt, is usually held together with honey, maple syrup, or some kind of sweetener. That's what makes it clump. That's what makes it taste good. And that's what spikes your blood sugar. Now here's what makes this worse. A lot of people eat granola thinking it's a light, healthy option, so they don't pair it with protein or fat to slow down the absorption. They just have granola and milk, or a granola bar on its own, and that sugar hits your bloodstream with nothing to buffer it. The swap? If you like that crunchy texture, try raw nuts and seeds, or look for granola that's specifically low sugar, and I mean actually low, like 2 to 3 grams per serving, not lower than the other brands. Read the label, don't trust the marketing. Number 4. Flavored yogurt. Okay, yogurt is healthy. Yogurt has protein, it has probiotics, it's good for your gut. I'm not arguing with that. But flavored yogurt? The kind with fruit on the bottom, or vanilla, or honey? That's basically dessert. Some of those little cups have 20 to 25 grams of sugar. That's almost as much as a candy bar. And because it says yogurt on the label, people eat it for breakfast, thinking they're doing something good for themselves. There was a study, I think it was in the British Medical Journal, where they looked at the sugar content of yogurts marketed as healthy. And what they found was that most flavored yogurts had sugar levels that would classify them as a high-sugar food. We're talking about stuff marketed to people trying to lose weight or eat better. The swap here is simple. Plain Greek yogurt, full fat if you can handle dairy well. And then you control what goes in it. A few berries, a handful of nuts, maybe a drizzle of honey if you need a little sweetness, but you're in control of how much. And look, I need to stop here for a second, because I want you to understand what's at stake. When your blood sugar is spiking multiple times a day, from juice at breakfast, bread at lunch, a granola bar in the afternoon, flavored yogurt as a snack, you're not just dealing with energy crashes, you're setting yourself up for something bigger. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this is how people end up with type 2 diabetes. This is how people gain weight they can't lose, no matter how hard they try. This is how people end up on medications they never thought they'd need. I've talked to so many people who say the same thing. I wish I'd known this earlier. I thought I was eating healthy. And the frustrating part? They were trying. They were making an effort. But no one told them that the foods they trusted were working against them. That's why I'm telling you now, so you can be the person who catches this early, who makes the switch before it becomes a bigger problem. Number 5. Instant oatmeal. And this one really gets people, because oatmeal is supposed to be the ultimate healthy breakfast, right? Whole grains, fiber, heart healthy, all of that. But instant oatmeal is a different animal. When oats are processed to cook in 90 seconds, they've been rolled thinner, steamed, and pre-cooked. That processing breaks down the structure of the grain. So instead of your body having to work to digest it slowly, it hits your bloodstream fast. Really fast. Plain instant oatmeal has a glycemic index of around 79. You know what else is in that range? White rice. Meanwhile, steel-cut oats, the kind that take 20 to 30 minutes to cook, have a glycemic index closer to 55. That's a huge difference. And that's before we even talk about the flavored packets. The maple brown sugar, the apples and cinnamon, those add another 10 to 15 grams of sugar on top of the fast-digesting oats. You're basically starting your day with a blood sugar spike and wondering why you're starving by 10 a.m. The swap? Steel-cut oats if you have time, or overnight oats. You prep them the night before. The slow soaking keeps the structure intact, and they're ready when you wake up. Add some nuts, some berries, maybe a spoonful of nut butter. That combination of fiber, protein, and fat keeps your blood sugar steady all morning. All right, so let's bring this together. 5 foods. Fruit juice, whole wheat bread, granola, flavored yogurt, instant oatmeal. All of them marketed as healthy choices. All of them spiking your blood sugar more than you realized. And listen, I'm not saying you can never have these things again. That's not realistic, and I'm not going to pretend it is. What I am saying is this. Now you know. Now you can make an informed choice. You can swap orange juice for an actual orange. You can reach for plain Greek yogurt instead of the flavored stuff. You can take 5 extra minutes to make real oatmeal instead of the instant packets. Small changes, that's all it takes. You don't have to overhaul your entire kitchen tomorrow. Pick one thing from this list, one swap, start there. Be consistent with it for a couple weeks and pay attention to how you feel, your energy, your cravings, how hungry you are between meals. I think you're going to notice a difference. All right, that's what I've got for you today. If this was helpful, hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.